do an insight video today. What I feel over the last couple of days, and I feel like this has been going on for a couple of days now. I feel like a shift in change in energy, and what I feel is, I feel like there's like expressions and aspects of self. So when we start talking about like multi-dimensional self, I feel this is coming online at the moment, and I feel like there's a real sort of like shift and change in our energy and our energy frequencies, and I feel like um, I'm being sort of like asked to, when you start talking about the infinite self and the ultimate self or the higher self, universal self, I feel like I'm being asked to like come online. And in a sense, what I mean by that is I feel like I'm being asked to express myself in a different way. But it's also about like miracles and about manifestation and about creation in that way. In a sense that I feel like my energy has been asked to come online, and I'm being asked to express myself like in like a higher state or a higher sort of sense of being. And I'm sort of like, it's like a different versions. That's how I want to explain it. I want to explain it like in different versions. So I feel like very much so like my energy's opening, my heart's opening up, my centers are opening up for my energy at the moment. But it's also asking me to create like a different version of self. It's like about manifesting and creating it. And I feel like it's sort of like the energy's coming online, and it's asking me to really sort of like manifest and create like a different version of self, a different reality. And this is part of what I feel is like this sixth dimensional shift. When we start talking about source light and energy, we talk about creation, we talk about manifestation, and we talk about sort of looking at different frequencies and looking at different energies and vibrations. And I'm being asked to sort of like my consciousness to shift and change in that way to create a new version, a new sort of like of self, but in a different way, like in like a different sort of like shifting and changing. And it's asking me to sort of manifest it and create it like a version of self that is more peaceful, that is more sort of like aware, as a different state of awareness. And it's asking me to create it and link into what like we all call like our infinite self or our higher self. And I feel like that's happening very much in this moment. My energy shifting changed over the last couple of days. There's a lot more peace, but there's also like a vibrancy, like a vibrancy to the energy that is shifted and changed. And what it's asking me to do is manifest a different version of self. So it's asking me to let go of sort of like old habits, old ways of being, and it's asking me to shift and change into a new one. So it's like transformation. It's like when you start talking about Saint Germain, which talks about like transformation and transmutation. It's that kind of thing. It's like as you go through this catalyst and you go through this kind of butterfly or this chrysalis sort of stage, and you come out and you transform to this more beautiful, with this more sort of like pure sort of like essence. And I feel this is what's going on at the moment, and I feel like I'm very much being directed. And change, change is a big thing. It's like there's definitely sort of like a shift in change at the moment as we start to connect into that energy, and it's shifting and changing and bringing for online a new state of being, a new awareness, a new understanding of how we use our energy, how we use our vibrations and our frequencies. And this doesn't just stop individually. This is something that's happening for us on a collective level as well. And I feel this is shifting and coming from sort of like the spirit world, or like the infinite dimensions of light and energy, and they're coming down, and we're being again asked to sort of like house this and activate this within ourselves. And this is part of the ascension. It's coming back to oneness again. It's coming back to that kind of sense of being. And everything over the last couple of weeks, when I've been talking about sort of like ascended master Jesus and the ascended masters, this is a state of being. It's about beingness, and state of being is completely different to sort of like the 3D external world, which is very much around sort of like the objective world. This is very much where we create from a space of infinite possibilities, infinite energy, and what we do is we allow this energy to start to be integrated and start to really sort of allow our consciousness to start to flow, and sort of like start to expand in a way that we start to see ourselves in a different light, in a different way. And so it's very much around transformation and change, and this is what's going on, I feel, for a lot of people at the moment. The energy is very beautiful, it's very pure, it's very gentle, and it's very nurturing as well. It brings a kind of energy of creation, but through a manifestation, through nurturing, as we start to connect into that sort of like that divine essence, that divine light within each and every one of us. I feel very much like there's a golden light as I start to connect into this golden light of creation, this source energy and light, the fifth dimensional reality, and the fifth dimensional um, light that brings creation, that brings manifestation, and it allows us to manifest and create a different version, a different aspect of self. There's many aspects to self, there's multi-dimensional self, and I feel like this sort of like feeling, my energy is really vibrating, it's like it's pulsating and it's expanding as I start to talk about this. So I know what's coming online is a new shift in creation and reality for many of us, and it very much is asking us to do that. So I feel like the sort of like the messages today, or the insight, is very much around transformation and transmutation. And again, this is about bringing online this illumination, this source energy, so we can start to express ourselves in a much more spiritual way, instead of sort of being connected to the physical sort of reality and the physical sort of things that the 3D reality of the materialism and the objective world, which is very much around the external. We're being asked again to come back into that universal law of consciousness, and in correspondence, where we create a consciousness of creation, but creation from source, not a creation from something external, where we start to create it. And this is again, I've talked about this in the past, where we talk about sort of like when you come online properly, there is no in or out, there is only one vibration, and you start to create from that place of oneness, that place of source light and creation. And this is what this time's about, and this is what this specific energy frequency that's coming down now is asking us to do. I feel like it's shifting and changing me, it's shifting and changing the way I approach each day, and think there's always going to be sort of like worries and doubts and fears and all those kind of things come up, but it's also about just sort of like dissolving those in that moment and sort of getting back into alignment. And alignment is the true state of like this state of being in peace and presence, like I talked about with this, the Ascended Master Jesus, which is very much about peace and presence. It's about being aligned, it's about being in that kind of source light and creation, where we keep whatever comes, we create from our centers, and we dissolve anything that doesn't serve us anymore. And this is what's helping to shift our own vibration as we start to move in. So as I start to connect into it, I feel this also, this has a very angelic sort of like vibration. As I've just sat there and I'm just sitting in the energy, I'm seeing this beautiful like turquoise colour. Well, it's not even a turquoise, it's like it is like bluey green, but it's more like this bluey sort of colour, but it's bringing in like a new sort of like vibration, a new frequency that I can feel as it comes in. But I feel it's angelic because I feel like there's this kind of harmony, this balance, this peace, and again, the reason why I'm saying angel is, and I got an angelic sort of it's got like an angelic sense or feel to it, because I can see like this yellowy, lemony sort of colour behind me with this blue colour, and it comes in with pink, and I can see these two massive white angel wings. So I know the angelic sort of like vibration is there as well, because it is coming in. So I just wanted to share a little bit of an insight today. It's not a very long video, but it's just, I'm saying what the insight that is trying to be sort of like passed on to all beings today, is about this sense of this new energy, this new vibration, this new sort of creative vibrancy that's affecting our frequency, and they're asking us to use it in the highest possible way, for the highest like aspects of opportunity. It's about creation, it's about creating new versions, creating new aspects of self and experiencing them, and then integrating them, because this will help to shift the planet, and it will also help to shift our own individual frequency, and all of that will help as we start to create this new spiritual reality. And this is what this time's about, is creating a new spiritual reality on this planet, on this plane, and this is why we're here, and this is all part of the ascension process. Again, I've got Serapis Base step in, or the image of a Serapis Base. So this is about going back to oneness, this is about coming back into that frequency of oneness, where we start to use our consciousness and our frequency in a way that brings us back into alignment, brings us back into peace, but it also brings us back into the infinite sort of vibration of creation and manifestation. It very much is a very, very beautiful vibration that is bringing the highest and the most sort of like positive outcomes, and creating the most positive realities at the moment. And all we need to do is just shift, let go, dissolve, and allow transformation and transmutation to happen. And again, this connects to Saint Germain as well. That's the insight for the